Hello from Freedomtax Accounting. We are an accounting firm here in Florida where we have been providing tax accounting services for more than 20 years. We do provide quality tax accounting services to individuals and businesses in all 50 US states. In today's video, we're gonna provide a step-by-step guide on how to fill out the SBA EIDL loan application for sole proprietors, independent contractors, or if you're self-employed. Now note that we are recording this video on June 23rd. We always emphasize the date because if you have been following this PPP, EIDL, SBA loan programs, saga, basically, you know that these programs have been changing constantly. So it is very important that you subscribe to our YouTube channel because we are doing our best to provide the latest video with the most current information regarding these loans. So subscribe to our channel so you always get the most current information about the SBA, okay? Now, what is the SBA EIDL loan? Basically, it's called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which you apply directly with the SBA. In contrast with the PPP, which you have to apply through a bank or through an authorized SBA lender, the EIDL loan you have to apply through the SBA. And it's a much simpler application process than the PPP. You will see that you don't have to send in any type of documentation. Now, this EIDL loan started back in April, and a lot of people applied, but they only started getting approved recently. And this program was closed for almost 8 weeks because they were given priority to agricultural businesses. But it did open up again on June 16th. So now everybody can apply, and if you're self-employed, you can also apply. You have to note that the EIDL program has two parts. It has the EIDL grant and it has the EIDL loan. It's one application for both. So the application that we're going to show you today is for the EIDL loan, and inside that application, you can choose if you want the grant or not. Now, the grant is up to $10,000, but if you're self-employed and with no employees, you will usually get $1,000 if you're self-employed. Now note that if you do get the EIDL grant and if you have already received your PPP funds, the EIDL grant will affect your PPP forgiveness amount, okay? And then the EIDL loan, it's a 30-year loan at 3.5% interest. Now, as of today, the EIDL loan is up to $150,000. I emphasize as of today because in the Senate, they're trying to make the SBA make this amount higher. And it's a 30-year loan, 3.75% interest. It's any loan amount that you get over $25,000 will require collateral. Now, if you get this loan, before you sign the documents, make sure that you know the loan terms and conditions. This is a very good commercial loan, but it does have a lot of requirements that you have to follow or you can get into serious trouble. We have done another YouTube video. You can check it out. It's called the EIDL Loan Terms and Conditions, where we go line by line in the actual loan agreement and we explain exactly what are the terms and conditions. Okay. Now, if you have applied for the EIDL already and you haven't heard from the SBA in 8 weeks or more, you can reapply. Also, if you have been rejected, you can apply for a reconsideration. You just have to call the SBA at this number and you may apply again if you have been rejected or if you haven't heard from the SBA if you applied back in April. Okay, now the application is via the SBA website. It's through sba.gov. This is the direct link to the application. We are going to provide this link in the description of this video, so you have a direct link. But I just want to show you how to go there directly through the SBA website. So when you go to sba.gov, this is their homepage. Once you get to the homepage, you can either click here, this yellow bar, or just go here where it says Coronavirus Small Business Guidance and Loan Resources. Just click Learn More. It takes you to this page. You scroll down and it says COVID-19 EIDL Loan and Advance Application. And then you click Apply here. Now, this is the application itself. This is where we start the application process, okay? The first part is that you need to choose your eligibility. Basically, depending on the type of business you have, you choose one of these options. Now, since this video is specifically for sole proprietors, independent contractors, or if you're self-employed and you do not have employees, meaning that you don't have payroll and you give people a W-2, then if you're self-employed without payroll, you have to choose the third option that says applicant is an individual who operates under a sole proprietorship with or without employees or as an independent contractor, okay? Now, when you scroll down, you have to check all of the following. You should, most people, they just check all the boxes. You just are confirming that you haven't done illegal activity, that you're not delinquent in child support, that you don't do lobbying, that you don't use the funds of your business for gambling. Basically, you're confirming that your business is legal and you're not incurring in any type of illegal activity. So just check all of the boxes off. Now, but make sure these are true, okay? Now you click continue, and this is where you start putting in your business information, okay? First is going to ask you for your business legal name. Now the information I'm going to use for this example is just made up information, okay? So made up, let's say made up LC, because remember, if you are a single member LC and you file as a sole proprietor, then you just have to put your LLC information. So if it's one single member LLC, it's made up LLC. If not, you can use your personal name. If you are not working under an LLC, just add your name. So here, okay, the trade name is your name, or if you have a DBA, you add here the DBA. If not, just add your name. Okay. In the third spot, you have to add your EIN or your social. If you're working under a single member LLC, then you add here your EIN number. If not, if you're not working under an LLC, then it's your social. Okay. Okay. Here you have to choose your organization type. Here you choose sole proprietorship. You have to say if you are a nonprofit, you put no. If you are a franchise, you put no. If you are a franchise, then put yes, okay? Now, here are two spots where you need to be very careful. You have to put your gross revenue and also your cost of goods sold, okay? Now, where do you find this information? So basically, if you're a sole proprietor, you file taxes under the Schedule C, okay? This is where you report your sole proprietor income that's inside your 2019 personal tax return. So take a look at your 2019 personal tax return and find the Schedule C, okay? So once you're here, your gross revenue is going to be line 1. So it's any number that it's right here. That is your gross sales, and that is what you are going to add in this line on gross revenue. So let's say that's 150,000. Now, cost of goods sold, these are not the expenses. Cost of goods sold is different than total expenses. A lot of people make this mistake. Where do you find this number? You go back to your Schedule C and see line 4 says cost of goods sold. So whatever number is on line 4, that's the number you add here, okay? Don't get scared if you don't find a number here, because there are industries where you don't have cost of goods sold, and that is okay. So, but let's say that in line 4, we found $50,000 cost of goods sold, okay? Right? Now, as you can see, there's some lines that have a red stripe on the side, okay? Those are the lines that you must fill out. If you don't fill them out, you can't move forward. And once you fill them out, they turn green. So that means that you're filling them out correctly. Here, they're going to ask you for rental property, loss of rent, if that's your case. If you go to primary business address, you just add your address, street, Orlando, Florida. Okay. You add your business phone. Okay. You add here your business address. Okay. Date of business established. Now, if you file a Schedule C, you have to go back and see what was the first year you filed the Schedule C. Okay, so let's say that I've been an independent contractor since 2014. So I put the date 01/01 2014. Okay, current ownership most probably is going to be the same date. Okay, now if you are working as a sole proprietor under an LLC and that LLC was established before you took over the LLC and it had a prior owner, then here you add the date that you took ownership of that LLC, okay? Then business activity basically gives you a list of industries, and then you choose the industry that's more close to the type of business you do. Let's say that here I put auto repair, and then detailed business activity is another drop down, which then you choose the one that is closer to you. Let's say here I do a tire shop, okay? Now, here in number of employees, once again, if you have employees on payroll, meaning that you give them a W-2, then add the number of employees here. But most sole proprietors don't have employees. Most independent contractors, it's only them as the owner. If that is the case, then only put number 1, which is yourself. Okay? Now you click next. Now it takes you to another page where you have to put the business owner information. It says, is your business owned by a business entity? You click no. Now, then it's going to ask you for the first name. Once again, you put your name. Sorry about that. Once again, this is just made up information. Okay. Let me delete all this. Okay. Did it autofill? Okay, the phone number. Here, the title, you put owner, ownership percentage. If you're a sole proprietor, you're 100% owner. The email, madeup@gmail.com. Here, you add your social. your date of birth, your place of birth, you put USA. If you were born in another country, you put the country you were born in. You have to choose if you're a US citizen, yes or no. Here you add your residential address. Okay, Kissimmee. Okay, then you click next. Now, the good thing about this application, if you miss something, it won't allow you to go forward. So if you try to click next and it doesn't allow you to move forward, that means that something is missing in this application. Okay, now, so you click next. Here you have to basically do a couple of certifications. Here you are certifying that you have been not convicted of a felony, that you haven't received, you haven't been barred or defaulted in other loans, that you're not under any type of criminal investigation. So just put no in everything if it is true in your case. This area in blue is basically if you hired someone to do this application for you, that business will put their contact information here. For example, if you hire our firm to do this application for you, we put our information here. Okay. Now, this is very important. This box right here, which says, I would like to be considered for an advance of up to $10,000. This is the EIDL grant part. Here you can choose if you want to be considered for the grant or not. Now remember, most self-employed don't have employees. It's only themselves, so you should get a $1,000 grant. Now, if you have received PPP funds, remember that if you do get the EIDL grant, that $1,000 you get as the grant will directly impact your PPP loan forgiveness. Whatever you get as a grant will get refinanced into your PPP loan and it's unforgiven. So basically, you have to pay back. So if you're self-employed and you're applying for EIDL, but you already got your PPP funds, I would highly recommend not to take the grant. Because remember, now self-employed PPP, it's fully forgivable if you do the forgiveness application well. Okay? But if you do want the grant, if you haven't received PPP, then definitely click here so you can apply for the grant. And here's going to ask where you want the funds to be deposited to. Here you put your bank. Let's say Chase Bank. You put an account number. You add a routing number. Okay. Here you just basically certify the terms and conditions. You click here, you go next. It takes you to a summary page where here you can review all the information you added in the application. If you need to make a change, you just click edit and you can change it. But if everything is okay, you just have to scroll down. You do the CAPTCHA. Cars. I see cars here, here, and here. Okay, verify. Then you click submit. Now, once you click submit, it is going to take you to a page like this. In this page is going to see application submitted, and this is your application number. Now, make sure you note this number down, because if anything happens with your SBA application, if you need to call the SBA, they're going to ask you for your application number. And they also are saying that you're going to get emails at this email right here. Okay. Now, in a couple of days, you should get an email from the SBA. Okay. The email is going to look like this. The email is going to say to create your SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan Portal account. And this is if you get approved for the loan. Okay. Now, if you don't get this email, you may even get the grant before you get this email. If you choose to get the grant, you're just going to see it deposited in your account. It's going to say SBA EIDL deposit, okay? But this is for the loan itself. So if you when you click create account, you have to do your username and password. Once you log in, you go to the portal. The portal looks like this, where they're going to show how much they're offering you as a loan. So this would be the amount that the highest amount that they're offering you to take. Now you can choose to take a lower amount of the loan, because remember, any loan amount over $25,000 will require collateral, okay? But if you want to choose a lower amount, you click review and accept the amount. Once you click here, it'll take you to a page like this, where you see a bar with the loan amount that they are offering. If you move this circle left or right, you can choose a lower EIDL loan amount, and depending on how much you want this information here is going to show you the monthly payment amount depending on how much you choose. So it is good because you can see how much you want to take, and depending on how much you want to take, you're going to see in real time how much your monthly payment will be. So you choose the amount you want and then you click accept. Once you click accept, you will be taken again to the portal with the amount you chose, and then you have to verify your identity. You click here and it's going to ask you very simple questions just to verify your ID. They're going to ask you what's their street address, what county did you live, what type of car you had, and then you click sign documents, and that's where it takes you to the actual loan agreement. And once you sign those documents, we are seeing that you get the funds deposited in 3 or 4 days. So this is a very fast process. Okay. Now that's it. That's the application. As you can see, it's very simple. Okay. Now, before you sign, remember to read the terms and conditions of the loan. Okay, once again, we have another YouTube video called the EIDL Loan Terms and Conditions. There are very strict rules on how you can use the funds. Once you get the funds, you can't use them for whatever you want. You are certifying, if you sign the documents, that you're going to use the funds for ordinary operational expenses. You cannot use the funds to pay long-term debt, asset acquisition, or expansion, meaning that if you have another loan under your name, you can't use these funds to pay off that loan. You cannot use it for asset acquisition, meaning you cannot use them to buy cars. You cannot use them to invest in real estate. You cannot use them basically to acquire large equipment. Okay, and if you received the PPP funds as well, and you apply for the EIDL and you get both loans. So if you receive PPP loans and EIDL loans, you cannot use the EIDL funds for the same expenses as the PPP funds during the PPP covered period. So if you do get PPP funds and EIDL, you cannot use the EIDL funds as to pay the same expenses as the PPP funds during the PPP covered period, which is now up to 24 weeks. Okay, so we really recommend that once you get the EIDL loan funds, get a consultation with your CPA that know EIDL rules so they can do a plan for you and make sure that you're using the funds correctly. Okay. Now, further EIDL tips: if you do get the funds, place the funds in a separate bank account. Use the funds for only eligible expenses. Okay. And if possible, Because remember, this loan has a 12-month deferral. You don't have to start making payments, the monthly payments, in 12 months. But even though you can defer payments for 12 months, the interest will still accrue. Okay? So if possible, if you can start making monthly payments now, please do so the interest will not accrue in those 12 months. Okay? Well, thank you. We hope that this video has been of value to you. As you can see, the EIDL application is very simple. Okay? If you have liked this video, like it in YouTube so a lot of people get this information and they can take advantage of this financial help. Remember that we are praying for you, for your business, for your family. Okay? If you need any type of help with these applications, we are providing that as a service. We are also providing consultations with anything related to EIDL or PPP. We have reduced our consultation fees in order to be able to help more people. This is our contact information. If you don't know about us, we are part of Freedom Group. We have the tax accounting firm, we have an immigration law firm, we have a real estate business, and we also have an insurance and financial planning business. So we can help you in many, many ways. Once again, this is our contact information. If you have received value out of this video, click like and also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you always get the most current information. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.